You know you have to urinate in one of those cups, right? I said, from here? So in 1997, I was still doing my marketing thing in the automotive sector. I had come from NGK Spark Plugs, and I went to a company called Eibach Springs, which had an office in Irvine at the time, 17817 Gillette Avenue. I'll never forget it. And before you get employed there, they were doing pre-employment pre-screen, which means you pee in a cup. I don't know if they still do that today, but this was the first time I'd ever had to do that. So they send you to a little urgent care place that's, set up to do that kind of thing. Well, this particular urgent care place had two doors, one for pre-employment pre-screen and the other one for normal patients. They weren't really separate except for the fact there was two doors. It was the same waiting room, but this one had a line coming out of it. There was about 4 or 5 people ahead of me. And sitting in this little cutout, it was a cutout like you got here, but it's got a counter there. And behind this counter is a nice-looking lady, probably in her late 30s, early 40s. She had a pleasant face. And her job is to hand people the specimen jars from this giant bookcase of empty specimen jars that she has right behind her conveniently. So the first person goes, second person, third guy goes. He's a Latino-Mexican guy, and he's like, his English was a little broken, but he was very adamant, like, I can't go pee because I just went to the bathroom. And she's like, just goes across the street, go take a big iced tea. There's a Del Taco over there. There's a Jack in the Box. Have a big iced tea. You can come back anytime today. We're here all day, that kind of thing. He was very agitated to walk out. And everybody was agitated for this 5-minute argument that was going on between this guy and this lady here, who was in a good mood, too. I got up there, apparently. And I walk up there and said, yes, I'm here for my pre-employment pre-screen. She goes, you know you have to urinate in one of those cups, right? I said, from here? The place roared. The place were laughing for like 2 minutes. Nothing out of Nurse Ratched. Nothing. She was not f***ing amused at all. Here you go. Go down to room number 2. So I go through the door and go to room 2. Now, if you've ever done a pre-employment pre-screen, when you do a urine test, there's a little thing that looks like a vanity, but it's not a vanity. You're supposed to put the cup in there and then close it, and somebody picks it from the other side. I did not know this. So... Now, I wanted to wash my hands. Well, you're supposed to wash your hands when you go to the bathroom. I think most people do that. But the water, when I turned it on, it came on a lot, and it kind of splashed. And so I'm trying to... So now the cup is covered a bit in warm water. So I walked down there and set it right on a stack of papers she had sitting right next to her desk. I said, here you go. And she was mortified. And she gave me a look like, you didn't just pee on that cup, did you? I said, there you go. Thanks. And I left. Working with Eibach, Wilfried Eibach, there's a whole town in Germany where basically everybody in that town owns their livelihood to the company Eibach one way or another. I was the marketing director at the time. I had a great team that I worked with. The daughter worked there, Swancha. She was a great gal. She's pretty A-type, but she was a great gal. The son, Ralph, worked there. He was another A-type personality. So I understand these people because my family was kind of A-type personalities as well. Wilfried was a fun guy. So we were doing a meeting one day, and they do it in a conference room. It's a big conference room. We had probably 50 employees on that floor. And there's a big map of the United States on the grease board. It's one of those like vinyl sticker things you come up there. And it's got one of those long pointers with the rubber tip, right? So he says, Wilfried, we walk in the meeting. Wilfried says, I got to take a phone call. You can start the meeting with him. We're talking about expansion of distribution in the network through WDs and all that kind of stuff, and where we're going to go to kind of target advertising and all that kind of stuff. It was production discussion, manufacturing discussion, distribution discussion, and sales discussion. Craig, can you start the meeting with him? Sure, I get up there. So everybody's not quieting down. So I get up there, I take a quarter, I stick it in my eye like Colonel Klink from Hogan's Heroes, and then I take the little rubber, the stick with the rubber thing. First, we will strike with 7 Panzer divisions to the east and to the west because the west is weak and decadent. And I'm up there going off on this tangent, the Panzer division. Then we will make a sweeping thrust through the lowlands into the highlands, all that kind of shit. Everybody's cracking up and everything got really silent real quick. I was doing that for like 2 minutes. And I turn around and Wilfried's standing there at the back and I feel all the color leave my face. And he goes, no, continue. I like this plan. He had a very good sense of humor. Again, I don't know how I kept that job. I was there 2 years, and there was this guy, Gary McPeak, who had a bit of an anger problem. He came into my office when I'm sitting with a magazine editor one day. He screamed at me, why isn't the Nopi crate marked on all 6 sides? I mean, what are you talking about? It's on the top, it's on this side, it's on this side, it's on this side. Where else does it need to be? It should be on the other side, so if it's person loads the crate this way, they can read it without having to turn around. I said, can we talk about this later? And so I went into his office afterwards. I said, there is no situation where you can talk to me like that. I'm not some 21-year-old fucking intern here, okay? I'm a professional. I've been doing this a long fucking time. You can't talk to me like that. And if you do it again, we're going to have a huge fucking problem. Eibach was quite an adventure. We were doing the Nopi shows back and that kind of stuff. That's when I had my Mustang right before the Supra. I left my Mustang there one weekend because it was a safe neighborhood. It's Irvine. I came back on Monday, and those guys in the shop were a bunch of clowns, so I thought they hid the car from me. So for an hour, I'm walking around thinking my car had been hidden. They jacked it up somewhere, all that kind of stuff. And they were like, no, we didn't. So I had to call the police. That car got stolen. And I had it sold, actually. Somebody had already given me a deposit on the car. It was already sold. So I had to give that person the deposit back, and I had to go through the insurance claim. And it was like $5,000 less than what I was going to get for the car. So I don't have good memories of that place.
Shopping for insurance can be an absolute nightmare, but it doesn't have to be thanks to Policy Genius. They're our sponsor for this month at VINwiki, and you can visit them at the link in the description below. You tell them a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your property, and they find the best deal by shopping amongst all the major carriers at the same time. In fact, you can bundle things like homeowners insurance and auto insurance, and the average user that bundles both of those things saves about $1,100 a year. So be sure to check them out and thank them for their support of VINwiki.